Hello, everybody. Joe Bag Donuts here, and welcome back for another episode of Umineko. It's been a day since I recorded. I tried to record yesterday, couldn't. Just couldn't. You know, I booted up the game, had OBS going. I clicked record. I said 2 lines, and I just went, nope, not gonna happen. And stopped the recording and closed the game and OBS. Just some days you don't have the mojo. What can you do? Anyway, one thing I also noticed. I know we found the grimoire last episode. I was thinking it was weird. I'm like, characters. But, like, the character voices and stuff that you normally can, like, turn on and off, that's in the configuration. What's in the characters? And it's like, oh, it's like a relation chart. How everyone knows everybody and, like, little blurbs about them from, like, including information that we haven't been told yet. So, let's just do a quick run through of everybody here, our cast, so to say, for episode 1, and I've been told it updates as the story goes along. I don't know if it like gives me a little blip telling me like, hey, maybe go check your character screen, or if it's just something we have to know to do. If it's like episode specific, or if it updates as the episode goes, only one way to find out is either me playing and checking it occasionally, or one of you guys just telling me, which I'll accept that. Anyway, Kinzo, the aged head of the Ushiramiya family, brimming with energy despite being pronounced to only have a short time left to live, amassed a vast fortune but has never made any announcement about his inheritance, which worries his children. Strongly influenced by the West and a rabid fan of the occult, his study is packed with mysterious grimoires. Krauss, Kinzo's first child, leads the family conference as the eldest of the 4 siblings. However, the other siblings suspect that he plans to claim the entire family fortune for himself, and the antagonism between him and the others grows increasingly severe. A real estate investor, he has put a vast amount of money into the development of a resort. However, his results have been harshly criticized. Natsuhi, Krauss's wife, manages the household of the Ushiramiya head family in the place of her husband, who takes little interest. For this family conference, again, she was the one who took charge of making all the preparations and arrangements, possesses a strong sense of responsibility and a great deal of pride. However, neither her nor his siblings understand her very well, so her position is far from enviable. Jessica, Krauss and Natsuhi's daughter. I guess it makes sense to put the apostrophe after the, both of them. In the absence of any irregularities, it is thought she will eventually inherit the headship of the Ushiramiya family, or rather her husband will. However, she seems to have no interest in all this. Born with weak bronchi and sometimes assailed by sudden asthma attacks. Didn't know that. Ava, Kinzo's second child, hostile towards her brother Krauss and opposes him in almost everything, from issues dealing with the family fortune to the question of who will succeed the family headship. Normally, she would have lost her place in the Ushiramiya register upon her marriage, but she managed to forcibly overcome this by having her husband take her family name. Hideyoshi, Ava's husband, took his wife's name upon their marriage and was welcomed into the Ushiramiya family. Therefore, he does not possess the spiteful Ushiramiya genes, and his bright smile is very refreshing at the family conference. He started his business from scratch, and now works as the president of a company operating in medium-sized restaurant chains. Apparently business is soaring, and things are going extremely well. George, Ava and Hideyoshi's son, an affable young man liked by everybody in the family. He's currently studying as an assistant for his father's company, and it seems he dreams of making his own one day. The oldest of the 4 cousins, he acts as their leader and arbitrator. Rudolph, Kinzo's third child, along with his sister Ava, he intends to make his voice heard during the family conference to prevent their elder sibling, Krauss, from keeping all their father's wealth for himself. Lost his former wife, Azumu, 6 years ago, and married his current wife, Kyrie, straight after that. Like, how straight after? Are we talking, like right away? Because that's, Rudolph's second wife. They've been business partners for a considerable length of time before the passing of his first wife, that explains it, at which time she openly took the position, serving as Rudolph's right hand in several shady pieces of business, guiding them to success, quick thinking and deeply trusted by her husband. The Battler, the son of Rudolph and his first wife, Azumu. turned against the father 6 years ago when he married his second wife immediately after Azumu passed on. He went to live with his grandparents on his mother's side. However, both of these grandparents passed away, and he has now returned to the Ushirimiya family after 6 years. This family conference is a chance for him to renew his friendship with his cousins after a 6-year gap. Nanjo, Kinzo's attending physician and longtime friend, once ran a hospital in Nijima, but turned it over to his son and now enjoys his old age in peace. One of the very few people that Kinzo trusts, now that he is held captive by an unrelenting suspicion of others. Big-hearted by nature, he has maintained a long friendship with Kinzo, unperturbed by his tendency to fly into a rage at the slightest provocation. Rosa, Kinzo's fourth child, by far the youngest of the 4 siblings. It seems this gives her a weakened position at the family conference. She manages a design company, but she has yet to start taking it seriously, and its financial situation is far from favorable. Maria, Rosa's daughter. Her father's identity is unknown. Ooh. She can't shake off the habit of speaking like a young child, which often earns her a scolding. She has no interest in studying or making friends, but is very interested in things concerning the occult and black magic, and thanks to her excellent powers of memorization, she knows all kinds of obscure trivia. Genji, head servant, leading all the other servants who work for the Ushirimiya family, has served Kinzo longer than any other, and has earned his greatest trust. Since he serves Kinzo directly, Krauss and Natsuki think of him as Kinzo's spy. Shannon! Oh, she's got a, leg tattoo of the, one-winged eagle. A young but experienced servant, she's normally calm and performs her job flawlessly, but she messes up when she gets nervous. Furthermore, Shannon is nothing more than a pseudonym that she uses when on duty, not her real name. Okay, makes sense. Kennen! A young servant performs his duties silently and diligently, but due to his unsociable nature, he is not so highly regarded as a servant. There are several other servants with the un-kanji character in their pseudonyms. He and Shannon just happen to be the ones on duty that day. What do you mean, that day? Like today that day, or... Goda. Servant employed as a chef. While he hasn't served the family long, he has a polished talent for entertaining guests, cultivated through his previous jobs, and is highly regarded as a servant. Since he was hired by Krauss and his wife, he is more trusted than those servants who have served the family longer and who are thought as Kinzo spies. Kumasawa. The elderly woman is a part-timer who has served the family for a great many years, despite quitting her job several times along the way. Shrewd and more competent and when it comes to performing her duties, but because of her chattiness and love of rumors, she is not highly regarded as a servant. That all of them? Cool. Nice. Whew. I'm tired out of my mouth. A lot of gabbing. I need a sip of coffee. Ugh. Alright, let's get back to the story. We crossed the hall again on our way to the entrance. As we did, we once again saw that witch's portrait. However, the word saw is probably not the best word to describe the experience. It's more like our eyes were drawn to it. The woman's eyes, with their sage-like glamour, definitely had the power to make those who looked at her stand rooted to the spot.
Majo, Beatrice ka. Honto ka ne?
Why do you also say your name like you're fucking Italian?
Batola 信じてない?
No. Back when he had asked what the picture was, the first person to tell him it was Beatrice had been Maria. Therefore, when Battler showed signs of doubt, Maria must have felt that Battler didn't have faith in her. Of course, that's not what Battler meant. Maria ran up to the portrait and began banging on the plate below it. Maybe the title of the portrait was written there. Maria, trying to prove that she wasn't lying, obstinately continued to hit the plate.
悪い悪い。別にマリアが言ったのを疑ったわけじゃないぜ。
バトラ納得。
When he patted Maria's head and apologized, she seemed to accept it, sticking out her chest and proudly oohing.
何我が最愛の魔女ベアトリーチェ。懐かしき故郷を貫くって なんだこの怪しげな長い碑文はよ。
Hey, your old man's an eccentric. Well, your older man. Your old man's old man. The plate did have the title of the portrait written on it, but it was much too big to contain only that. Beneath the title, what looked like a long epitaph was also written. Oh great, a word puzzle in a fucking survival horror game. As I skimmed over it, I was taken aback by the array of unnerving words that jumped out to me.
すげえだろそれ。じいさまが書かせたものだよ。意味深だろ。
マリア知ってる。
Alright, extol us.
黄金の隠し場所。
おいおい、後ろ宮家の隠し黄金の話か。そりゃまた懐かしい話だね。っていうか兄貴、これマジなのか？
これを書かせたおじいさまはこの絵とこの碑文に関しては何も語ってくれないんだ。
Well, gold is a pretty stable thing to put your money into, because if, you know, a currency crashes, the gold stays relatively the same.
でも親類たちの間ではおじいさまの黄金の隠し場所を記したもので、この謎を解いた者に家督と黄金のすべてを譲るという意味ではないかともっぱらささやかれてるよ。
Great.
マリア聞いた。マリア聞いた。黄金いっぱいいっぱい。
さてな。10トンの金塊なんてね。
Oh, fuck.
私はちょいと眉唾だけどな。
Well, gold itself is really heavy, so...
しかしよ、こんな碑文を読んじまうとマジかなって気になっちまうな。
I think I already explained grandfather's upbringing, but let me also mention the Ushiromiya family's Legend of the Gold. Grandfather succeeded the Ushiromiya family after it had been almost totally destroyed in the Great Kanto earthquake, and by successfully riding that stormy seas after the war, managed to accumulate great wealth. Not much of the story everyone knows. However, this is where the strange part of the story begins. Part of it is closely tied to grandfather's black magic hobby, so its credibility is extremely low, but, well, wait until the end before you doubt or make fun of it. What, is the man an alchemist? After the war, grandfather successfully predicted what the future would hold. His big gamble paid off and accumulated a vast store of wealth. But there was a mysterious legend about how he gained the funds in the first place. Grandfather came from a branch family and had no connections in the business world or the financial world. Even though he later built connections with the occupying forces, in the beginning, he was supposedly a nameless person who had not yet gained anyone's trust. Money could only be gathered based on trust. There's no way anybody would lend money to an untrustworthy person. However, did grandfather, whose trustworthiness was zero, manage to obtain a large amount of funds in the first place? It is said that, when asked that question, grandfather answered like this. One fateful day I encountered the golden witch Beatrice. He then went on and on about how he continued to research alchemy and techniques for summoning demons in order to become a great mage. And the entity summoned as a result of the demon calling ritual was the golden witch Beatrice. He then said he made a contract where, in exchange for his own soul, he would receive fortune and honor. The witch then granted grandfather 10 tons of gold. Grandfather used this gold as collateral to prepare a vast quantity of funds. Then used that to multiply his wealth by several times and revive the Ushiromiya family. It seems that this story is so old that our parents had already been told it when they were still children. So our parents, when they were little, explored this island in various ways, believing that the gold that grandfather had received from the witch might be hidden somewhere. However, since there was the danger of them getting lost in the abandoned forest, grandmother, or someone began to spread rumors about the story that the witch lived in the forest and approaching it was too dangerous.
そんな話があったな。
God, my nose itches. I trimmed my mustache and my nose hairs yesterday, but now they're all like prickly and weird. Ugh.
俺たちも小さい頃、親からその話を聞かされて、宝探しと称して島中はあちこちうろうろして、森で迷ってワンワン泣いて、しお兄さんに見つけてもらって、親にめちゃくちゃ怒られたんじゃなかったっけ？懐かしいぜ。
バカだったよな。だってよ、じいさまはその資本金で儲けた挙句でこの島を買うんだぜ。この島に来る前から黄金を持ってたってことになるじゃねえか。
Yep.
この島にあるわけがないぜ。
そうとも限らないよ。その黄金が元からこの島に隠されていて、それを確実に自分のものにするためにこの島を丸々買い取ったとかね。
Okay.
何しろ10トンもあるんだもん。安全な場所に移すより隠し場所そのものを
Yeah,
確保
it's
する
not
方
just
が
sitting in
現
the
実的だ
security
よ。
deposit box at the bank.
この碑文を書かせたのは2年前。それもじいさま自身ってなると、なるほど。黄金伝説も信憑性が増してくるじゃねえか。じいさまが後ろ宮家復興の資本金にしたという魔女に授けられた黄金が10トン。そいつがどこかに今も眠っていて、じいさまはこの謎を解けたやつに全部を譲ろうって。
I don't know. That sounds like some fucking cursed gold. I wouldn't want that. That's some fucking Rhinegold shit.
へえ。じいさまらしいセンスというか、なんというか。へへ。マジならなんとも景気のいい話だぜ。
The epitaph carved into the plate was very mysterious, something like a poem or a song. Sentences were incredibly disturbing, filled with the signs of grandfather's black magic hobby, and in truly bad taste. But it could definitely be viewed as a puzzle which, if solved, could lead to the place where the gold was hidden.
そういうつもりなのかどうか、おじいさまの胸中は想像もつかないけどね。一つ言えるのは、このうさんくさい碑文をおじいさまは一族全員に告示するかのようにここに掲示したこと。
Okay.
そして黄金の存在はほのめかしながらも、未だにその隠し場所について一切触れないこと。そこから親たちが想像を膨らませて、おじいさまの知恵比べに違いないって言い出した。
欲の皮が
Gotta
突っ張っ
challenge
てる
whoever is the,
うちの
you know,
親父あたりだろう
smartest
ぜ。
and most shrewd
こんな
is
弱いことを
most
真に受
deserving
けて
to
るなんて
succeed
よ。
the family kind of thing. Either that or just fucking with them.
じいさまの黒魔術趣味はバカにしてるくせに、この隠し黄金の話だけは信じてやがる。調子のいい話さ。
確かに現実的な話じゃないよね。
Yeah, you know, summoning a witch and getting magic gold.
当時無名で何のコネクションもなかったおじいさまに無償で莫大な金塊を融資する人物なんているわけがない。それがいたからこそ、おじいさまはそのスポンサーを魔女と呼んだというなら考えられない
You know,
話じゃ
it's
ないけど。
literally the joke people use to like explain shit in like their D&D games. The wizard did it. Boom, done.
でもよ、10トンだぜ、10トン。一体現金に直したらいくらくらいになるんだ？っていうか、とんでもない量になるはずだぜ。
とんでもない量だよ。人類が有史以来発掘した黄金はせいぜい10万トンって言われてる。人類の歴史が手にした黄金の1万分の1を個人が手にしてるっていうのはとてつもないことだよ。
Yeah.
それが一箇所にあり、しかもそれをおじいさまにポンと貸し出せるような魔女。ただものじゃないね。
Yeah, it would probably crash the market if all that gold fucking went into it.
私はよ、その10トンって数字ももはや嘘くさいと思ってるぜ。
It's like how Spain crashed their own market in the age of colonialism because they fucking took too much gold from the New World. Oops. And then flooded the European market.
第一よ、じいさま以外に見たやつはいないんだろ？仮に気前のいい魔女が実在して黄金を貸したとしても、それは10は10でも10キロぐらいの間違いじゃねえのか？10キロでも相当いい金額になるはずだぜ。
おー、10キロの黄金っていくら？
Which weighs more, 10 kilos of gold or 10 kilos of feather? Maria, who couldn't keep up and felt like she was being spoken to in riddles, finally found a place where she could ask us a question. A question which I also wanted to ask right then. When I hear 10 kilos or 10 tons, I know that it's an incredible amount, but I couldn't put a number on exactly how incredible. George and Keith folded his arms and tried to remember the market price of gold.
さあ、金も相場の影響を受けるから何とも言えないし、純度や鋳造先の信用によっても変わってくる。 換金に手数料もか
Yeah,
か
are we
るし、
talking like atomically pure gold here?
ただ希少金属であることは間違いなくて、このまま採掘が進めば人類はあと半世紀ほどで全てを掘り尽くしてしまうんじゃないかって憶測もある。デタラメに言って1キロあたり200万円程度の価値はあるんじゃないかと思うね。
2 million yen would be 20,000 yen. It's the 80s. Let's just ballpark $20,000.
ひゅー、私よ、10キロってのは今適当に言って控えめな数字なんだけどよ。それでも2000万円の価値があるってことになるじゃねえかよ。
Don't ask me to adjust for inflation. I can't do that. I have no fucking clue on what the inflation rate of the yen to the US dollar was in fucking 1984 or whenever this game takes place.
マリア、体重28キロ。
God damn, fucking get some meat on your bones.
ということはマリアちゃんと同じ重さの黄金ならその価値は5000万円を超えるって計算になるね。
そりゃたまげるな。10トンならいくらだ？ 10 キロで2000万が1000倍だから、はあ、200億円か。こりゃたまらねえや。
Yeah, 200 million 80s money? Fucking rolling in it. How much is 20 billion yen actually worth? We would have to measure it by putting it in terms we could understand. I mean, they say that wages over a lifetime are 200 million yen. You grow up and work like crazy, sacrificing your life for your company, and as you approach old age, you're finally freed. And all that together, including the retirement money, comes out at 200 million yen. In other words, that is the cash equivalent of a human's life. Now, you could even call it the price of a life. We're talking about a sum so enormous that it would require hundreds of those lives. Assuming you work for 40 years from age 20 to 60, what a novel concept. Retiring at 60? Not in this economy. Then it equals to 4,000 years of work wages. It's some money you could finally accumulate after working every day starting from the Jomon period.
200億円
What?
ってすごい
Random fucking Japanese like time periods don't get a little blue exclamation mark. I just have to understand that Jomon is really old.
ああ、すげえよ。マリアの大好きなショートケーキだったら多分一生かかっても食い切れないくらい買えるぜ。
でも200億円という現金ならいざ知れず、それと同等の金塊が一ところにあるなんてとても現実的とは思えないね。
Yeah.
さっきも言った通り黄金は非常に重くて財産をまとめておくにはちょっと便利とは思えないよ。ものすごい額面の有価証券と
It's a
か
physical thing.
ものすご
You
く
need to
価値
put
の
it
ある
somewhere.
宝石とかそういうものなら考えられなくもないけれど、戦時中の混乱期に自分の資産を持ち運べるよう全て宝石などに変えた人たちがいたのは有名な話だからね。でも黄金で資産を備蓄したというのはなかなか聞かない。
確かに重いけどよ、国際的に一番信用されてて価値も安定してるし意味はあるんじゃないのかな。証券とかだったら国が滅びちまったら紙切れになっちまうわけだし。
そういう考え方もあるね。
Well, by the 80s, you know, the USD had already moved away from the gold standard, I'm pretty sure.
でも 10kg のインゴット一つでも体感重量は相
Not
当の
being
ものだよ。
100%. Oh, hello, Grindsoft anti-malware. Thank you for interrupting me. Where was I going with this? Oh, yeah. Not being just American-centric, because, you know, I'm American, but the US dollar is what's used, like, in international trade, so the fact that it's no longer on the gold standard has some implications for the value of gold, but hey. Ah, fuck off!
聞いたことない？ 50キロの人間は背負えても50キロの俵は担げないって。
Yep, A person can help you by shifting around their center of gravity.
それだけの莫大な重量の金塊を個人が所有するリスクと手間は計り知れないね。
And kind of like distributing their weight more evenly.
ってことはつまり、200億円の札束がうなってるって話ならともかく、200億円分の黄金が山積みになってるってのは、ちょいと現実味がないわけだな。
そういうことになるね。黄金伝説なんて響きはとても面白いんだけど、そもそも10トンの黄金という時点で少々無理があるね。
Yeah.
そうやってリズムで考えるとみるみる嘘くさくなっていくぜ。夢のない話さ。
でもそこは何しろあのおじいさまだからね。親切なお金持ちからの融資を大げさに吹聴して魔女から授かった10トンの黄金なんて例え方をしたのかもしれないよ。10トンという数字も象徴的な感じがするしね。
Does it?
つまり、借りた金のありがたさは10トンの黄金に匹敵する価値があった。
じいさまに大金持ちの勇敢マダムが気前よく恵んでくれて、そのご婦人を魔女と呼んだってことじゃねえ
those
か。
are reasonable explanations. Jessica's example isn't bad. Someone was generous enough to lend a huge sum of money to grandfather when his trustworthiness was still zero. And she would certainly be someone worthy being called a witch. Furthermore, grandfather later used that money to build a vast amount of wealth. With such an incredible ability to judge people, again, she might well be fittingly called a witch. Also, since she went to the trouble of lending all that money, she might also have enthusiastically guided how it was spent. Come to think of it, the idea to get involved with occupying forces and profit from the Korean War demands might have come from that witch as well. With all that considered, saying that he received wealth and honor from a witch would actually be a fair description.
なるほどな。ってことはつまり、この魔女様は後宮家復興のための資金を恵んでくださった復興の大恩人ってわけだ。となりゃ、じい様が感謝の気持ちを込めてこんだけでかい絵を描かせて掲げさせたってのも、なるほど、おかしい話じゃないのかもな。
ひょっとするとよ、当の本人は見るからに魔女っぽいばあさんだったかもしれないぜ。それをじい様が美化してこんな美人に描いてくれたってのは考えられる話さ。案外当の本人に会ってみたらこんなに美人じゃないかもしれねえな。
ありえるね。
Really want to say those words right in front of this portrait's eyes?
ベアト
Right in
リーチェ
earshot
って
of
名
it?
前はいかにも洋風だけど、僕たち一族の名前がみんな洋風であることを考えると、このベアトリーチェって名前も日本人名を無理やり洋風にアレンジしたものなのかもしれないよ。
You sure about that?
なるほどなるほど。この美人は絵の中にしかいないってわけだな。それじゃあの立派そうな胸は揉めそうにないぜ。
Yeah, don't touch the oil painting.
鼻っから魔女なんておかしいんだよな。そんなのが地球上のどこにいるってんだ。
As I laughed and made fun of the witch in an attempt to differentiate myself from the kid I was 6 years ago who was afraid of the witch of the forest, Maria tugged on my sleeve. The strength of which she did so displayed a little annoyance.
なんだよ、マリア。
はーい。ベアトリーチェはいる。
Maria stared up at me. She had on her usual sour look, but I could tell she was angry because of the color of her eyes.
魔女いる。魔女はいる。
なんだよ、そりゃいるだろうよ。テレビをつけりゃアニメとかによ。
Yeah, I was about to say, like, I know you're a big fan of Precure, but it's the 80s. Precure didn't exist yet. Go watch some Minky Momo.
いる。魔女はいる。
I started to feel pressured, not knowing why Maria was jumping on me like this. Then, Jessica tapped me on the shoulder and told me in a small voice,
バカだな。子供の夢打ち砕いてんじゃねえぜ。
Yeah, what? Next you're gonna tell her Santa ain't real?
マリアは魔女とかベアトリーチェとかが確かに存在するって信じてんだよ。
確かマリアちゃんは学校の文集に将来なりたいものは魔女って書いたんだっけ？
Maria nodded seriously. Tears started to run from the corners of her eyes. I see. The girl who wants to become a witch in the future. This Beatrice is proof that witches do exist in this world, and is also someone who she admires and strives to be like. Yeah, but how does Beatrice feel about having a fan?
魔女はいる。なのにバトラーが信じない。
うん、いるよ、魔女は。お兄ちゃんは信じるよ。
George and Key kneeled down and held Maria's head. Watching this, Jessica poked me in the side. So that's what it is. It's basically like I just dropped the bomb that Santa Claus doesn't exist in front of a child who believes in him on Christmas Eve. I'm not the kind of guy who likes to shatter kids' dreams.
悪かったぜ。別にマリアの夢にケチをつけたわけじゃねえんだ。謝るよ。ベアトリーチェはいるよな。今もこの島の森の中に住んでいて、夜な夜なこの屋敷で何をやってるのか覗き見しに来るんだろ。だから森には入っちゃいけない。夜はいつまでも暗い森を眺めていてはいけない。森の魔女ベアトリーチェに見つかってしまうかもしれないから。
Yep, don't want to get spirited away and thrown into a soup.
ばあ様がそう言ってたんだもんな。
Oh, it's not like you have much meat on your bones. You'd probably just be turned into a broth.
本当にバトラーは信じる？
おお、信じるぜ。ケチをつけて悪かったよ。ほら、仲直りしようぜ。
Yeah, we were just joking. I stuck my hand out, Maria grabbed it with her tiny hand, and we made up. Maria didn't grumble any more than that, so George, Aniki, and Jessica were relieved.
あら、
Yes, moonlit night, great track for the middle of the day.
皆様ここにいらっしゃられたんですか。てっきり海岸へ行かれたとばかり。
Shannon-chan, carrying a basket, was surprised to find us all gathered in front of the portrait.
シャノンか。いやさ、
We're just
バトラ
getting
ー
a
はベ
lore
アトリー
dump.
チェの肖像画を初めて見るからさ。まあ見とれてたってわけだぜ。
そうですね。見とれちゃいますね。ベアトリーチェ様って
Yeah, it's a real
本
conversation
当にお
piece.
綺麗です。さぞや親方様を虜になさったろうと思います。
パトロン説の他にもおじい様の初恋の人だという説もあるんだ。
That's also likely.
どちらにせよ彼女に出会ってから数十年を経ているだろうにもかかわらず、今なお心の中に大きく居座り続けているんだから、それは今なお虜にしているということなんだろうね。
やれやれ。これじゃばあ様はさぞや嫉妬しただろうぜ。
私はよく知らねえけど、やっぱりそういうのはあったらしいぜ。ばあ様は金髪の浮気相手がいると信じてたらしいな。
You know, really smoozing up with, someone, maybe over here with the, occupation forces. We also explained how we would get the inside knowledge about stuff like the Korean War and, getting really along with HQ.
いい匂い。シャノンからいい匂い。
Maria, sniffing, approached the basket Shannon-chan was holding with interest. And now that you mention it, I do notice a fragrant scent with the essence of vanilla. Ooh.
申し訳ございません。熊沢さんからこれを皆さんにお届けするようにことづかりました。
What, we got cookies?
なんだろう。素敵だね。クッキーだ。
Mmm.
クッキー食べたい。クッキー食べたい。
Now, I'm a psychopath, and I really like my cookies dry and crunchy. Like, things like, chips, or, oh god, what is it? You know, the Chips Ahoy. There we go. Where, like, they're soft and kind of doughy and you can bend them. No, I want my cookie to, like, fucking snap.
お
Like,
召し上が
it's
りいただきま
compressed
すよ。
sawdust or something, but it's sweet.
でも、その
Unsure whether it was really acceptable to serve cookies in a place like this in front of the portrait, Shannon-chan sent us a glance which seemed to ask what we wanted to do. Well, thinking about it, yeah, that would be bad manners.
マリア、ここじゃなくて
Yeah,
よそで
there'd get
食べよう
crumbs
ぜ。
all over the carpet.
クッキーをお弁当にピクニックに行こう。
ピクニック行こう。クッキー食べれるなら行こう。
そうだな。ちょっと表の空気を吸いに行くか。
Yeah, fresh air is good for you.
魔女様の御前でつまみ食いもねえもんだぜ。
そうだ。もともと私たちは浜辺に行こうって言ってたんじゃねえか。行こうぜ行こうぜ。
シャノンちゃん、申し訳ないんだけど、腰を下ろせる敷物と水筒にお茶を入れてきてもらうのをおね。
はい。かしこまりました。
Shannon-chan received her instructions and gracefully bowed before retracting her steps. Retracing. Words are hard. We headed for the beach on our own. Everyone headed for the entrance in a group. Feeling as though the witch was staring down at our backs, I turned around once more.
アトラ、まだ信じてない？
いや、信じるぜ。その方が夢があるしな。
Yeah, it's more fun that way.
黄金の魔女ベアトリーチェがじい様に10トンの黄金を授けた。それで、その黄金がどこかに眠っているかも
The
しれ
world
ない。
needs a little fantastical stuff in it.
しかもそいつを、じい様は怪しげな碑文に書き残し、見つけられるもんなら見つけてみろと俺たちを挑発してるってんじゃねえか。こういうロマンはあった方がいいってもんさ。
200億円の黄金か。
Just gotta, get your metal
私た
detector
ち
and
4
rip
人
the
で山
island
分けしたっ
apart.
てとんでもない金額になるな。
It's not that big an island.
一人頭50億円か。すごいね。
Just like come here in like the kind of middle of spring and then stay until the end of summer and you'll pretty much have the entire island mapped
それだけ
out.
あったらどんな事業でも起こせそうだよ。いや、そもそも働かずに生涯を優雅に過ごせるだろうね。
50億円よりクッキークッキー。
Yeah, you could buy a lot of cookies with that.
マリアには金よりクッキーだな。しかし、50億円か。夢のある話さ。
バカバカ
Oh
しい。
boy, back to the family meeting.
まさかお前たちは親父殿の黄金伝説を本当に信じているのかね。
魔女が黄金を与えた云々はさすがに信じねえさ。だが黄金の話だけは間違いじゃない。
お父様が出自不明の金塊を持っていたことは複数の筋から確認されているわ。
Okay.
死んだマルソーの会長は生前、お父様に某所で積み上げられた金塊を実際に見せられたという。お父様はそれを指して10トン分あるとはっきり明言したわ。
Cool.
老いぼれのざれ言じゃないか。親父殿と一緒に存在しない黄金の存在をでっち上げただけだ。取るにも足らない。
存在せん黄金にあないな軍資金は集まらへんで。会長さんは生前その真摯なお人柄であれだけ大勢の財界人から尊敬を集めたお人や。
Yeah,
詐欺
I'll
の
have to
片
take
棒
your word
な
on
ん
it.
か担がへん。
兄貴、マルソーの会長は確かに見たんだ。10トンの黄金をはっきりとその目で。
Oh man, sometimes people just lie.
しかも親父はそのインゴットの一つを任意で抜き取らせ、会長に持ち帰らせて鑑定させた。それは10キロのインゴットで、鑑定結果は純度49。インゴット表面には後ろ宮家の家紋である片翼の鷲が刻印されていたという。
Carved or stamped? Because if it's that pure of gold, you just gotta push on it hard enough. You can fucking get anything in there.
後ろ宮の黄金伝説は瞬く間に財界のフィクサーたちの間に広がったわ。鋳造元不明の黄金は換金率が悪い。ボロ儲けのチャンスだと思った彼らはそれを担保に認め、結果お父様は莫大な融資を受けることができた。
バカバカしいにも程があるじゃないか。
I mean, what's your theory on how we got all the
お
money
前
then,
たち
huh?
はいくつになるんだ。まだそんな子供の頃のおとぎ話を真に受けているのかね。第一、その10トンの黄金の証拠はどこにあるんだ。
This mansion you're in?
親父殿と親交の深かったごく一部の人間のざれ言だけじゃないか。
もちろん口伝だけさ。でもよ兄貴、親父が調達した莫大な金はそれに見合う担保が必要だった。
Yeah, and a nobody, you know, ain't gonna get that much money from the banks.
仮に黄金がデマでもそれに匹敵する価値あるお宝を親父が見せたのは紛れもない事実じゃねえのかい。
都市空間の親父殿が作った黄金幻想さ。ありもしない黄金
So
をあ
he
るかに
just lied to people. He's
ス
like,
ポン
yeah,
サーたちを騙したん
I
だ。
have a ton of gold. Lend me some money. They're like, can we see it? No.
一世一代の大博打だったのだろう。運よくその資産の運用に成功できた。もし当時の外需拡大がなかったら後ろ宮家
Or
の
did he
最
get
高
like
は
one
なら
bar
ず
of gold and the rest are
親
just
父殿
fucking
は
spray
世紀の
painted
ペテ
silver?
ン師として追われていただろう。
And he did the thing people do for like internet clout where they take like $100 bill and put it on like a big stack of ones and then show it off in their photo.
じゃあクラウス兄さんは黄金など最初から存在せず、すべてお父さんのでっち上げだ言うんか。
もちろんさ。だから十分な成功を収めた後には黄金幻想など面倒なだけだった。だから親父殿は魔女だの黒魔術だのとわけのわからないことを後に言い出して信憑性を薄めたのさ。
Okay.
つまり黄金幻想がでっち上げであることを明かしたのだよ。魔女に黄金を授かったなどと言えばもはや誰も黄金の存在を信じたりはしまい。あるいはお前たちのために言い出したのかもしれないな。なのにありもしない黄金を遺産分配に含めて議論しようというバカな息子たちが現れる。
Look, man, it's about the sentimentality of it.
どうぞ。まさかお前までこんなでっち上げを信じてるって言うんじゃないだろうな。
私はお父様が本当に黄金を持っていたかどうかを確かめることはできない。でもお父様の4人の子供の一人として
Yeah.
正当な分を主張したいだけよ。
ほう。ローザも言うようになったじゃないか。なるほど。
I mean,
お
I would
前
be
たち
asserting
はこ
myself
う言い
too
た
if
い
there
わ
was
けか。
fucking tons of gold on the line.
私が黄金を独り占めしようとしていると。
兄さんが莫大な軍資金を調達したのは事実。それがお父様の個人資産の横領では断じてありえないというなら、つまりはそういうことよ。
兄貴はすでに10トンの金塊を見つけてるんじゃないかって俺たちはそう見てるのさ。
I doubt that.
バカバカしい。そんなものは元より存在しない。
じゃあ説明なさいよ。お父様の財産の横領、お父様の隠し黄金、そのどちらでもないならどうやってあれだけの軍資金を調達できたっていうの？
A wizard gave it to him.
私にも政界財界に友人が多くいてね。彼らから協力を得ただけに過ぎんよ。それについてお前たちに説明する義務はない。
Yeah, I've played enough Yakuza games to know about the financial corruption of the Japanese political system.
分かっているだろう。話せぬ方面の筋もある。
兄貴がそうだと言い張るんならそれでいいさ。でもよ兄貴、親父は長くない。来年の今日まで生きてるなんて
Yeah,
誰にも保
hand
証で
waving
きね
where
えんだぞ。
you got your loans from. Let's get back on topic.
親父が死ねばその時点で遺産相続だ。俺たちは全員の立場から中立な弁護士と会計士を立てて親父の財政状況を調査させるぜ。
その時、お父様の資産に兄さんが不当な干渉をしていることが発覚したなら、
They're gonna throw you to the fucking
お
sharks.
分かりね。
何の話だかさっぱりわからんね。妻でなくても憤慨したい気持ちだ。
お父さんの黄金は もちろんお父さんの財産や。
Yeah.
表に出せん金やっちゅうのも分かっとる。しかし4人に公平な権利があるはずや。
つまり兄貴が黄金を独り占めしていないかどうか、兄貴についても財務状況を調査させてもらうぜってことなのさ。
いい機会じゃない。兄さんの言うところの友人知人にバックアップしてもらったというところを証明なさいよ。そうすれば兄さんは潔白。私たちはくだらない疑いを持ってしまったことを潔く謝れるわ。ねえローザ。
そうね。クラウス兄さんこそ話をはぐらかしてるわ。やましいところがないというなら証明してくれればいいだけの話なのに、兄さんはまるで取り合おうとしてくれない。
Well, the burden of proof is also on the prosecution, which I guess in this case is you guys, so.
だがまあ兄貴の立場にも配慮するさ。親父の名代ということで俺たちより一つ多く責任を背負ってるところもあるだろう。今まで散々気楽に過ごしてきた俺たちがそれを察しないでブーブー言うのはこりゃフェアな話じゃないぜ。
ほう、さっきから落とされたり持ち上げられたりと忙しい。本題に入りたまえ。
つまりな、
Yes, please.
お父さんの財産をあれこれ調べて重箱の隅をつっつくんはブスやないかって話なんや。クラウス兄さんの言う通り、うまく説明できん金の動きもあるやろ。
Yeah.
そこを理解した上で、
things,
わしらは
you
兄さん
don't
に
want
相談を
explained
持ってきたんや。
for good reason.
お互いにとって悪うない相談や。
相談？ほう。
遺産分配時に今日まで親父の面倒を見てきてくれた兄貴のご苦労を最大限に汲み取り、
Yeah,
分
you
配
know,
に寛大な理解を示
maybe
そうって
instead
こ
of,
と
you know,
さ。
25%, you know, 4 ways, you maybe get like 30% and we split the rest.
間違えないでよ。別に私たちの権利を放棄するって言ってるわけじゃないのよ。
Yeah, just you get you either get a piece like with like a big piece of frosting on it, you know, like kind of how they do like the dollops on top of it, you know, you get one of those, or maybe like a little extra strawberry on there.
ただ、その権利を主張する際に、兄さんの立場に立った寛大な理解があってもいいんじゃないかしら、ということなのよ。
つまり条件を飲んでくれたら、わしらは遺産分配時にお父さんの財務状況調査をクラウス兄さんに一任してもいいっちゅうこっちゃ。
All the siblings from Ava downward suspected that Krauss was trying to steal their father's wealth. In that situation, letting Krauss report on the state of father's wealth by himself was extremely contradictory and a huge concession. If, as they claimed, Krauss was actually embezzling money, Krauss would be able to hide that fact. Besides that, it would also be possible for him to control the distribution of the inheritance in a manner favorable to himself. Krauss, also realizing that it sounded too good to be true, couldn't help but feel doubt. He had to worry about what they would ask in return for such a compromise.
ほう、信用ゼロの私に長兄としての信頼を返してくれるというのか。その見返りは何だね。
同じ兄弟としての公平な権利さ。
Yeah, just you know.
俺たちの兄貴は親父の財産をかすめ取るようなやつじゃない。だがしかし、兄貴に融資するパトロンも存在しない。となりゃ、つまりこういうことなら兄弟は納得するわけさ。
兄さんは10トンの黄金を見つけ、それを担保に軍資金を作った。そう。お父様がかつてそうしたようにね。
そういうことなら、お父さんの財務状況におかしな点は一切あらへん。クラウス兄さんはずっとお父さんの世話をしてきた高校息子や。
Willing to meet you halfway here.
そないな人を信用せんわけにはいかへん。
It's a good out for you.
回りくどくて分かりづらいな。もっとはっきり具体的に言いたまえ。
条件の一つ目。
We'll ignore your embezzling if you just fucking give us the fair share.
まず兄貴は 親父の黄金を見つけていたことを認めること。
ありもしない黄金を私が持っていると認めろと。
It's just a cover.
条件2、その黄金について兄弟の取り分を認めこれを支払うこと。
バカな。ありもしない200億の黄金について一人頭50億、合計150億を支払えというのか。
Alright, now this is looking just like extortion.
バカバカしい。
最後まで聞きなあれ。備え大金出てくるのは分かっとる。でけへん取引はするつもりないで。もちろん黄金の取り分についてもクラウス兄さんの今日までのご苦労を十分にねぎらって換算するつもりや。
条件3、黄金の分配は後宮本家当主跡継ぎの肩書きに 50%、 残りを兄弟の正当な取り分として分割。
Okay.
もちろんクラウス兄さんもこれには含めるわよ。
200億のうち125億を兄貴に、
That's a pretty big cut.
25億をエヴァ姉さんに、25億を俺に、25億をローザに。
ありがたくて涙が出る分配じゃないか。存在しない黄金のためにお前たちに75億支払えというのかね。
何よ、兄さんの取り分は私たちの5倍じゃない。
Yeah.
私なら踊り
Don't
上が
worry
っちゃ
about
う
it if it's a
好条
non-existent,
件よ。
funds you're pulling from, but hey.
条件の4、分配金は親父の死亡時に遺産分配に含めて清算する。
Damn, fucking lump sum?
ただし手付金として俺たちの取り分の 10% を即納してもらう。支払いは来年3月までだ。
どうやクラウス兄さん、お父さんの財産をめぐる信頼を回復する絶好のチャンスやないか。さすがに75億の大金はお父さんが亡くなったからやないと無理やろ。
I mean, nothing against it, but
だが手付けの7億半はなんとかできんこともないんとちゃうか。
半年で7億ってのはちょいとしんどい話だが、政界財界に友人が多いってのが自慢の兄貴なら
affluence
なん
shouldn't
と
be
か
too big a
で
deal.
きるだろ。
Right?
本当なら今すぐ75億を一括で払ってもらいたいところよ。でも兄さんの立場に配慮してとりあえず1割を納める誠意を見せてくれたら、残りの9割は
Man,
遺
fucking
産
poor
分
Krauss.
配時に持
Just
ち
getting
越してく
ganged
れ
up
て
on.
いいってことなのね。1割程度の誠意なら兄さんにだって示せるんじゃない？
親父殿の財政状況調査を私に一任する権利を7億5千万で売りつけようというのかね。
Yes.
上等じゃないか。お前たちも成長したものだ。
Yeah, they're really putting the screws to you here, huh?
この私に取引を持ちかけられるようにな
What
る
a
と
fucking
は。
shakedown.
これらを兄さんが飲むなら、私たち兄弟はお父様の財産状況調査を兄さんに一任する。
Yeah, just bribe us right now and we'll look the other way when you do some creative accounting when the time comes.
ただし、その調査結果は公弁の対象となる。当然よね。75億分、私たちの取り分が減るように調整されちゃったら悲しいもの。
原則的に文句は言わねえつもりだ。
Yeah, just have it all come out in the wash.
兄貴が綺麗にやってくれたならそれでいい。よっぽど露骨なことをしなけりゃ、俺たちはことを荒立てるつもりなんかねえんだぜ。俺たちだって早く遺産が欲しい。いつまでもグダグダして取りっぱぐれたくねえんだ。
公弁された場合の再調査は誰がするのかね。
兄さんでいいわ。
Yeah, just, oops, made an accountant error. Let me fix that real quick. Okay, here's your real sum.
多分これが兄弟で合議する最初で最後の機会だもの。そんなことにはならないと信じてる。
ローザもたまには言うわね。
The Krauss was not trusted whatsoever as the oldest sibling was by now so obvious that it required no explanation. Formerly tyrannical oldest brother would always abuse his privileges and infringe upon the other siblings' shares. In response to that, the other three, now adults, were for the first time striking back at him by working together.
申し訳ないが、条件はまだ続くんや。条件5、この取り決めはお父さんの遺言状に優先する。後になってこの取り決めが保護になるような遺言が出てきちゃかなわんちゅうこっちゃな。
Okay.
入念じゃないか。なら質問だが、仮に本当に黄金が見つかった場合、どうするのかね。
それに対する支払いを兄貴が済ませてる以上。
Yep. That's fucking the whole thing we don't want to get
俺たち
involved
は
in.
本当に黄金が出てこようがどうでもいいことさ。俺たちの取り分は先払いってな感じになるわけだからな。
夢があっていいじゃない。この島をリゾート化するつ
Yeah,
もり
even
な
if
ん
it
で
does
し
show
ょ
up, hey, we're just washing our hands of the affair right now before then. So that way we don't have to get involved.
その工事の途中でひょっこり黄金が見つかるかもしれないじゃない。
Ava let out a high-pitched laugh. Krauss watched her without even flinching.
条件に7をつけてもらおう。私以外の兄弟が黄金を発見した場合、速やかに私に引き渡すこと。
Yeah, yeah, okay.
もちろん保証するわよ。
We're getting our cut of it anyway. Insignificant details. The others, who were forcing Krauss to pay money for some non-existent gold, would of course not insure Krauss's portion if they actually found the gold. From the beginning, this deal had been nothing more than a threat directed at Krauss. While the truth might be different, the probability that Krauss was embezzling his father's assets were extremely high. When at last Kinzo faced death and it came time for the inheritance to be distributed, surely some unpleasant facts would come to light. That situation would likely be a fatal wound to Krauss. They had latched on to that weak point and were threatening their brother under the veil of compromise, trying to wring out a huge sum of money. However, they had let one thing slip their minds. The three of them had forgotten that their oldest sibling, who they couldn't defeat unless they banded together, was a very nimble thinker when it came to being crafty. Krauss relaxedly let out a gloating laugh as he spoke to Ava, who could not hide her smile, so certain she was of her victory.
とても良い話じゃないか。私もお前たちとの関係が疎遠になっていたことには非常に心を痛めていた。
Well, you reap what you sow.
この条件を飲むことによって兄弟間の関係が再び有効なものにできるなら、それはとても嬉しいことだよ。喜んで話に乗らせてもらおうじゃないか。喜べローズ。取引は成立だ。
Woohoo! Rose's expression dimmed. When her brother started talking like this, the conversation would never change for the better. Ava was also sensitive enough to realize this. Therefore, even though Krauss had obediently accepted the deal, she was unable to wipe away her feeling of insecurity.
嫌に素直ね。兄さんらしくもないわ。
Yeah, it's almost like you think you somehow have the upper hand here. Something you want to tell us about?
それはひどいじゃないか。私に下心があるというのかね。
Yes.
あるわけもないさ。お前たちと同じだ。
Can't believe he would just lie straight to their faces like this. I'm just like all of you. It felt as though only that part was emphasized. The color of Rudolph's face darkened. I have a plan, just like all of you. That's what it sounded like to him. I gave him a sense of urgency. Trying to bring this near-finished discussion to a conclusion, he rushed to wrap it up.
ならいいんだ。じゃあ兄貴、ここにサインをもらえるか。今の話を書き出した俺たちの誓約書だ。人数分ある。同じ内容に全員がサインする。
Okay. Rudolph took 4 contracts out of his breast pocket that had the details of their deal written on them.
クラウス兄さんの提案した条件7ももちろん今から追記するで。
You just gonna fucking pencil it in?
安心したってな。
兄貴、ペン使うか？
Rudolph took out a fountain pen from his breast pocket and offered it to Krauss. Krauss made as if to accept it, but then, with a small laugh, drew back his hand without taking it and spoke.
実はこの取り決めを確かに履行するために1点だけ修正を提案したい。
When Krauss said that one sentence, all the siblings felt at the same time as though something annoying was creeping up their backs.
ダメよ。もう決まった話よ。黙ってサインを。
エヴァ、何を焦っているんだね。もちろんサインはする。
Yeah, you're letting your hand show.
お前たちに黄金の分け前、75億円分を約束する。
Keep that poker face.
親父殿の遺産分配の時、きれいさっぱり清算することも約束する。だが、1点だけどうしても譲歩してもらいたい部分があるのだ。
And that would be...
何の話だよ。どの点が気に入らねえってんだ？
分け前の1割、7億5千万円を即納する点だよ。お前たちの指摘通り、私の財政状況は決して裕福ではない。
Just gonna kick that can down the
数
road.
々の先行投資によって未来に必ず回収できると保証されながらも、今のこの時点では火の車であることは認めなければならない。つまり今すぐに動かせる金は全くないということだ。私は無能で詳細の嗅覚も鈍い。お前たちの言うところの弱り目の私には7億半も半年で動かせる力はないということだよ。
そんなはずはないでしょ。いい加減なことを言ってこの場をごまかす気？
遺産分配時に全て一括で清算する。1割を即納する条件を削除したまえ。それが私にサインさせるための唯一の条件だ。
クラウス兄さん、この1割はな、あくまでもお兄さんの誠意を図る数字なんやで。本当なら取引の余地もない話や。そこを100歩譲った上で、とりあえず1割の誠意でこの場を丸く収めちゃうっていう大サービスなんやで。そう説明した上でそこを断るっちゅうんは、互いの信頼関係にちょいと影を落とすんとちゃいますか？
Hideyoshi had a humble expression on his face and had his hands clasped together, but his eyes were not calm at all. Krauss had already seen through the shadow in the depths of those eyes.
お前たちは何を焦っているのかね？それとも何に怯えているのかね？どうぞ、私にだけは教えてくれんかね？他の兄弟たちには内緒でこっそり。
Yeah, just whisper it. Secret between siblings.
別に私は。
よせよ兄貴。俺たちは兄貴がサインするかしないかしか聞いてない。妙な勘繰りも交渉もなしだ。
ほう、私には交渉の余地もないと。
Nope.
立場が弱いのは私の方で公平な関係ではないと、そう言いたいのかね？
Shivers began to crawl up Rudolph's back. Ever since he was a child, he'd never been able to overcome the height of the wall that separated him from his older brother. Now again, he began to feel himself getting sucked in by it, and the long shadow it
取
cast.
引は公平な関係であるべきじゃないのかね？この取引は私にとっては弟や妹たちと長いことを失ってきた信頼を取り戻し、兄弟愛を深め合うもの。それは私にとって緊急に解決したかった心のしこりだ。
Oh, yeah, I bet.
それが今日解決できてとても嬉しいと思う。だがお前たちもこの取引を急ぎ締結することがとても嬉しいんじゃないのかね。
Krauss stared at each of the siblings. They avoided his gaze with animal-like instinct. Only Hideyoshi was slow avoiding it. So he was caught in Krauss's gaze.
秀吉兄さん、あなたの会社非常に好調子だそうじゃないですか。トントン拍子で上場を果たし、業績も株価も右肩上がり。実にお羨ましいことです。
うちの人の話は関係ないでしょ。
Why you also hurriedly need this money?
だが株主たちに対する還元を怠ったのが悪かった。そして上場した時に足回りを固めきらなかったのもまずかった。
There we go.
気づいた時にはたちの悪い連中に
So they all have
自
reasons
社株を
they
だい
need the
ぶ買い
cash.
集めら
And
れ
we know
てい
from
た
reading
ら
the
しい
character
じゃ
sheet
ない
that
ですか。
Rosa's fashion company ain't doing so hot.
なんでそんな話知っとるんや。
秀吉さんと同じで
Yeah,
すよ。
connections in the business world. Or is he a shareholder?
私に融資する人間などいないと裏を取れる程度に、私も秀吉さんの裏を取れるのです。そんな不思議があることはないじゃないですか。
Krauss grinned broadly. In contrast, Hideyoshi's face was turning obviously pale. Hideyoshi's company was a fast food chain operating company that had started from nothing. Though Hideyoshi managed efforts, performance of the business repeatedly rose and magnified, and ultimately it succeeded in becoming a stock-listed company. The greatest advantage of being in the stock-holding system is that, by selling stock certificates, a large amount of financing can be gained. Yup. Big inflow of liquid cash. That amount is far greater than the actual profits from the business. This made it an extremely effective way to gather massive funds needed to grow his company even further. However, in exchange for financing the company, those stockholders have certain rights. Namely, the right to observe and guide the company that they have financed in order to raise its profits above their investments. The right is guaranteed to all stockholders, and they sometimes even use it to reorganize inefficient management. It is the right to prevent the money they have spent financing the company from going to waste by watching in the management of the company. Yeah, I've gotten my shareholder fucking like info packets in the mail for like the annual meetings, so you can, like, if you want, you can vote for like what you think the company should like invest in and yada yada. However, if they use this right forcefully, they can eject the former management and take over the company. Because the general body of all stockholders have the power to dismiss the management and nominate new management. That right is exercised on a majority decision by the stockholders. And people who hold more stock get to cast more votes. Yeah, that's why if you get the majority, you just pretty much own the company. In other words, if some person or group holds a majority of the stock, they can freely chase out the old management and make the president anybody they would like. If they want, it's even possible for them to make themselves president. Many companies, in order to prevent their stock from being bought up by malicious people and their position from being threatened, take some kind of defensive measures, such as having their own employees or people close to them buy a lot of stock certificates in order to prevent a hostile group from securing the majority. However, since Hideyoshi's company had only recently become stock listed, they hadn't had the time to strengthen those defensive measures. No, Hideyoshi himself was so engrossed in the management of his company that he hadn't realized the dangers of being stock listed. Bit off a little more than he could chew. It's hard to say whether he should be viewed as a kind-hearted and skilled manager immersed in the management, or a foolish manager who had his feet swept out from under him. But in any case, there are people out there who would not let him get away with that naivete unscathed. They have rapidly bought up Hideyoshi's company's stock and instantly gained a significant amount of power. They had sent anonymous documents to the stockholders and began to capture the majority. The documents read, "The current management continues to make pointless investments and ignoring the needs of the stockholders. Let us force the current management to retire, cut the current waste investments, and let the company be born again as one that gives back more to the stockholders." It is very difficult to make the actual state of a company's management known. They maliciously twisted the figures Hideyoshi had produced from a tiny amount of sleep and a constant concern for his company, and made him lose the trust of the stockholders. Their effects had almost collected the majority of their efforts had almost collected the majority of the stocks in the company. At that point, even Hideyoshi noticed and started to buy back the stock, but the stockholders, who realized that the company was undergoing an acquisition maneuver, demanded a ridiculous price for the shares that Hideyoshi was trying to buy back. They continually tortured Hideyoshi, who had no leeway in the negotiations of the price. One of the certainties of capitalism is that the value will rise when both parties vie for the same thing. And one of the certainties of democracy is that the majority controls everything. So in the end, whoever manages to buy up the most stocks wins. So whoever has the most money wins. So he needs a whole lot of cash on hand to buy back the majority of his company. If Hideyoshi could obtain a large sum of money at this critical time, he'd be able to avoid losing all that which he had built up. Therefore, more than anything else, he wanted a lot of money right now. He couldn't wait for the division of Krauss's, Kinzo's inheritance, which may not happen for some time.
ルドルフの方も最近は大変だそうじゃないかね。海外は怖いとよく言うが、本当にそうらしいな。アメリカの裁判は極めて感情的に決まる。彼らは外国人に寛大な判決など出しはしない。先方と和解した方が結局は安上がりになると、弁護士に忠告を受けたんじゃないのかね。
Oopsie, maybe a little personal misconduct, let's call it. And now he's trying to settle out of court with a non-disclosure agreement.
何の話？
まあ仕事上のトラブルさ。大したことじゃない。金で切りのつく話さ。
Kyrie quickly recognized what Rudolph's complicated expression meant. Her husband had gotten wrapped up in some kind of trouble without her knowledge and had been suffering alone.
その通りさ。世の中なんだって金で蹴りがつく。失った兄弟の絆だって買い戻せるようにな。アメリカは権利侵害などにはうるさい国だ。
Yep.
だが金さえあれば何でも和解できる。資本主義万歳だよ。もっとも和解金は数百万ドルにも及びそうだとの噂もあるがね。
Rudolph had been building a large amount of wealth with a certain type of niche market. However, a niche is a niche. It's definitely not a sunny job. An American corporate giant was trying to accuse Rudolph's company of violating their rights. For various reasons, it was thought that winning the trial was extremely unlikely. Rudolph was being pressured to surrender outright. But even so, there was a way to resolve it with money. If he could only pay that money, though it might be painful, he could still pick himself back up. But if he didn't pay, he'd lose everything. Therefore, more than anything else, he wanted a lot of money right now!
ローザは清く正しい妹だ。危険なマネーゲームなどには手を出さない。だが、
Unless she needed to.
お人よしな性分が災いしたんじゃないかね。連帯保証人は気安く引き受けるものではないと思うがね。
You don't got the guts for the hard business decisions? Urza uncharacteristically laid bare her emotions and yelled, because she had thought she had kept it a secret. As Krauss watched, he let slip a muffled laugh. There was nothing to fear. Every one of them, more than anything else, wanted a lot of money right now. In other words, the situation had been reversed. Because only Krauss, who they were threatening, had no urgent need for a large sum of money. Yeah, he just needs to play the waiting game, and it'll all fall into his lap. Compared to that, the three who were threatening him wanted money quickly, no matter what the cost. So the longer Krauss postponed this deal, the greater the advantage to him. Krauss was very sly. He had known of their Achilles' heels from the beginning. Even so, he had not been certain. Therefore, he had hidden until the very end, and upon closely and completely examining their attitudes, he had struck back.
私もできることなら、可愛い弟や妹たちの危機に金を工面してやりたいと思っているよ。だが、残念なことに持ち合わせがなくてね。7億半もの大金が工面できるスポンサーに心当たりがあるなら、先にそちらを当たってもらいたいのだよ。
Krauss's elated words were horribly blunt. The other siblings could do nothing more than listen, grinding their teeth. They could think of a sponsor that convenient, they wouldn't have kept up this charade, or charade, depending on who you ask. They had entered this huge battle specifically because they had exhausted all other
も
options.
しお前たちがどうしてもこの兄を頼りたいというなら、私の口利きでスポンサーを探してやってもよいのだね。おっと、私にはそんなものはいないと言っていたか。それではどうにもならんね。
Yeah, he definitely hit you guys with a big old Uno reverse. Krauss's low, gloating laugh began to fill the parlor. The younger siblings, who had, until now, been driving the oldest brother into a corner, could do nothing more than grimace and grind their teeth.
冗談じゃないわ。兄さんに借りなんか作れるもんですか。冗談じゃない。冗談じゃない。
クラウス兄さんを頼ったらどう助けてくれるの？
言ったではないか。私にできるのは他のスポンサーを探すだけだよ。もちろん利息を融通してもらえるようには最大限交渉するがね。
What's that interest rate gonna be looking like?
ちくしょう、足元見やがって。
Fucking pot calling the kettle black here.
あなた、落ち着いて。
Really? They translated Anata as baby? Normally it's like deer or something.
落ち着いてるぜ。俺は極めて冷静だぜ。クソったりが。
Kyrie grabbed her husband's hand. But that action made him feel even more pitiful, so Rudolph shook it off. Krauss laughed as though seeing that made him extremely happy.
こんな時、本当に親父殿の隠し黄金が見つかればいいんだ
Yeah, it would solve
よ
everything.
ね。そうすればすぐに25億ずつをこの場で切り分けてやれるのだが、残念残念残念至極。非常に極めて実にどうしようもなく残念だ。今宵は兄弟みんなで酒を酌み交わしながら、親父殿の隠し黄金を
Everyone get a headlamp and a shovel, we're going out.
ベアトリーチェの碑文の謎をみんなで解き明かしてみようじゃないかね。仲良し兄弟が4人揃えばきっと解けない謎はないは
Yeah, it'll be just like the Goonies.
ずさ。
You done?
Hmm. 面白いことをする。それでその突きつけた条件というのは何か。
はい。クラウス様は黄金の発見を問わずに。
Well, it seems the rest of the family has good reason to believe all of his servants are fucking spies.
様に計75億円を支払うこと。ただしその1割を3月までに支払うこと。
クラウスの間抜けめ、弟たちに足をさらわれるとはな。実に愉快ではないか。しかし爪が甘いようだな。
はい。クラウス様はそれをエヴァ様以下お三人が緊急に大金を用立てする必要があるためとカンパされました。
ふん、その程度のことはカンパできるのか。中途半端に無能な男め。今はどうしている？
I don't know, probably just staring at each other.
話は一度中断されました。今はベアトリーチェ様の碑文の話をされています。
私の黄金がどこに隠されているのか、その謎を解こうと。
I don't know, man. There's a pretty good chance that whole thing's a red herring. That he just fucking put it there for shits and giggles.
はい。
Doesn't mean anything. Kinzo set down his glasses and snorted.
奇跡の成就が先か。愚か者どもが黄金を暴くのが先か。 実に見ものではないか。愚か者どもが我が謎を解き明かしたなら、その時は私の全ての敗北だ。我が屍を骨の一かけらまでしゃぶり尽くすがいい。愚か者どもの貪欲さが偉大なる魔法に奇跡を宿らせるのだ。
Interesting magic system.
だがもし奇跡の成就が先だったなら、ベアトリーチェは再び蘇る。私が半生をかけて追い求めたあの美少が蘇るのだ。おー、ベアトリーチェ。奇跡を落とす聖なる夜がやってくるぞ。悪魔たちとのゲームが始まるぞ。私はきっと打ち勝つ。絶対に生き残る。他の奴らの命はくれてやる。
Yeah, man, fuck them kids.
富も名誉も財産も黄金も何もいらぬ。ただお前の微笑みがもう一度見たいだけなのだ。
Okay, there we go. You need some Mucinex? Kinzo choked, apparently in great pain. Kennen got closer and tried to pass Master's back, but Kinzo signaled that he didn't need to.
なぜ私が黄金の隠し場所をわざわざ人目に触れるように晒したかわかるか。
Fucking stir things up.
いえ。
魔法の力はリスクで決まるからだ。ベアトリーチェの黄金を暴こうとする人間が多ければ多いほど、
the stronger she gets.
その危険が高まれば高まるほどに、それでもなお成就できたとき、魔法の力は偉大なる奇跡を起こせるのだ。
Okay.
魔法とはつまりゲームなのだよ。優れている者が勝者になるのではない。勝者には魔法が与えられ優れるのだ。
Okay.
わかるか？
A little circular, but I guess I can see it.
生命の奇跡が数億分の1という神々しい確率に勝利するからこそ与えられるようにな。お前には少し難しいか。
申し訳ございません。
Yeah, we're getting a little esoteric.
つまりはこういうことだ。ベアトリーチェの碑文の謎を解いた者には、私が築き上げてきた全てを与えよう。富、名誉、黄金、そして後ろ宮家のその謎に挑む資格があるのは何も私の息子たちだけとは限らぬ。たとえお前であっても、その謎を解けたなら全てを得る資格があるのだ。
はい。ですが、僕にはあのような難しい謎は分かりかねます。
無論だ。難解に作った。だが、お前も挑め。それが我が魔法の奇跡を呼ぶ糧となる。誰もが挑み、誰にも至れなかったら、その時はその時。だが、奇跡が集い、魔法の力が生まれたなら、その時こそ、ベアトリーチェが蘇るのだ。だからお前も挑め。誰もが挑め。
Is this like in his employment contract that he has to?
そして我が魔法に力を捧げるのだ。わかるな。
はい、努力します。
For a long while, Kinzo repeatedly muttered to himself, agitated and grabbing onto his head. Kennen stayed where he was, alert and unmoving, until he was given the next order from his master. Kinzo finally realized this.
もうよい、下がれ。酒棚に菓子の袋がある。
Thanks.
ダチンに持っていくがよい。
結構です。僕は家具ですから。
Yeah, what kind of good couch doesn't have like some random pieces of candy that fell between the cushions?
家具は菓子など食わぬか。道理だが。 ならばもう下がれ。
Also, I didn't take Kinzo to be the kind of guy who just has like a candy jar in his office.
はい。失礼いたします。
No, just filled with those little mini Snickers and like 3 Musketeers. Like a couple Hershey's Kisses, maybe. Kennen bowed and left the study. As the door was closed, a heavy locking noise resounded. Heavy indeed. But that was not the sound of Kennen locking the door. It was the door locking automatically. No one could enter without Kinzo's permission, and once they left, they could not enter again. It was a mechanism that Kinzo, unable to trust his blood relatives, had created to lock himself up in his own study and isolate himself from the outside world. The only ones he could trust now were not the sons who shared his blood, but the servants who called themselves furniture.
Nanjo sensei, いかがなさいましたか?
源氏さん。いや、居場所がなくなりましてな。
Just taking a walk. With a bitter laugh, Nanjo turned to face the door of the parlor. It seemed that because of that motion, Genji understood what Nanjo wanted to say. For the most part, Genji also understood the family situation. It must have made him want to frown, knowing that right now in the parlor, the master he served was being discussed so disrespectfully. But it would have also been very difficult to gather from his indifferent expression.
しかし、私どうして金蔵さんはこんな挑発的なものを書かれたのでしょう。
Nanjo looked at the portrait of Beatrice. No, he actually directed his gaze beneath the portrait to the plate with the epitaph.
私には親方様のお考えを分かりかねます。深いお考えがあってのこととお察しします。
金蔵さんのチェスは昔から随分と遠大な読みで布石を打たれるものでした。
I mean, that's how you're supposed to play chess.
いや、時には理解できない一手さえ。私ごとき凡庸では何を目論まれているのか。
Yeah, I'm also a person who can only see like maybe 2, 3 moves ahead, compared to like those people who can like fucking plan out the game from like the very first move.
私は
It's like they move and then the next person moves and like, oh shit, I've already lost. Those people fucking drive me up the wall. They're crazy. Their brains are weird.
それを理解できた者に財産や家督をお譲りになられようということなのでしょう。
つまり私のようなよそ者に解かれてしまう前に兄弟4人で協力し合って謎を解けということではないか。
Okay, that's one reading of it.
ということですな。金蔵さんは息子さんたちのことを口悪く罵ってはいますが、なんとか兄弟が仲を取り戻してほしいと。
I think you're giving the man a little too much credit here. If, as Nanjo said, this epitaph had been written to repair the relationship between the siblings, how heartwarming that would be. However, Nanjo and Genji both knew this was one thing that could never be the case. Here were the two who had held the longest relationship with Kinzo, more trusted than his blood relatives, and even they could not guess what Kinzo's true motive. They could not guess Kinzo's true motive. There was an apostrophe S there.
謎に挑む資格があると常々おっしゃっています。南條先生はいかがですか？
いやいや、この老いぼれには少々難解が過ぎますな。
Yeah, it would take too much brain power.
実は以前この碑文を手帳に記しましてな。
I already gave a crack at it.
夜な夜な寝る前に挑んでみたのですが実に難しい。
Yeah, something about Sweetfish River?
お迎えが来るまでの間
I don't know, there's probably some fucking kanji wordplay in there that's not going to make sense to me until they spell it out for me, like in one of the answer arcs.
源氏さんこそいかがですかね。
私めは親方様にお仕えする家具に過ぎません。黄金も財産も私には不要なもの。
I mean, again, what kind of couch would it be if there wasn't, you know, a couple coins clinking around behind the cushions too?
やれやれ、本当に謙虚な方です。 だからこそ金蔵さんもあなたには心を許されるのでしょう。
ならば光栄なことです。
As Nanjo lightly laughed in response, he once again looked at the epitaph.
懐かしき故郷を貫く鮎の川、黄金鏡を目指す者よ、これを下りて鍵を探せ。
That which is written on the epitaph of the portrait of my beloved witch Beatrice is as follows. Behold the sweet fish river running through my beloved home of old. You who seek the golden land, follow its path downstream in search of the key. As you travel down it, you will see a village. In that village, you will look for the shore of the two speak of. There will be the key to the golden land sleeps. You who laid hand upon the key must journey as follows to the golden land. On the first twilight, sacrifice the 6 chosen by the key. On the second twilight, those who remain shall tear apart the 2 who are close. On the third twilight, those who remain shall praise my noble name. On the fourth twilight, gouge the head and kill. On the fifth twilight, gouge the chest and kill. On the sixth twilight, gouge the stomach and kill. On the seventh twilight, gouge the knee and kill. Things like to go in sevens, is that it? Nope. On the eighth twilight, gouge the leg and kill. On the ninth twilight, the witch revives, and none shall be left alive. On the 10th twilight, the journey ends, and you shall reach the home of the gold. The witch shall praise the wise and bestow 4 treasures. One shall be all of the golden land's gold. One resurrects all the dead people's souls. One even revives all the love they possessed. And one for the witch to eternal rest. Rest in peace, my beloved witch Beatrice. Little jingle and a chapter. Nice. Yeah, I'm not going to try to solve that. I'm 100% not smart enough to try to understand what that means. Also, it would be impossible at this stage of the story. We don't have all the pieces. I could shoot in the dark and, you know, take like the whole infinite number of monkeys and typewriter theory and try to like throw enough random shit at the wall and maybe something would stick, but, you know, highly unlikely. But with that, that is where we are going to end it here for today. So once again, thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring the notification bell. See you all next time for the next episode of Umineko, where, you know, we'll put all that nasty family inheritance business aside and maybe hang out with the siblings. And hey, if you're new here, I live right across the block from a fire station, and on my street, they love to play the siren because it's pretty narrow roads here. So before the fire trucks and ambulances roll, that thing goes. Can you hear it today? I don't know. Hold on, let me stop talking. Yep. If I have my window closed, the noise suppression on OBS is enough to cancel it out, but because I have my window AC unit in, it gets through, which means I have to hear it, you have to hear it. It goes off all day, every day. Doesn't matter the time. 3 a.m.? Fuck yeah, man, it's going off. But, yeah, I guess that's it. That's it. You can go now. Go watch something else now. Bye. Mwah.